What is your personal story of encountering a cryptid?
I'll never forget the night I stumbled upon what I can only describe as a cryptid. It was deep in the woods, where the trees seemed to whisper secrets. I was camping with friends when I heard a rustling sound, unlike anything I'd ever encountered. Curiosity got the better of me, and I ventured out with just a flashlight. Suddenly, I saw it, a massive figure, covered in dark fur, standing between the trees. My heart raced. It had glowing eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. I froze, unsure whether to run or stay still. Then, it let out a low growl, and I felt a chill run down my spine. In that moment, I realized I was witnessing something extraordinary. The creature turned and vanished into the shadows, leaving me questioning everything I thought I knew about the world. Was it a bear? A myth? I still don't know. But that encounter ignited a fascination with cryptids that I carry to this day. Late-night walks, a routine born from his insomnia. Our neighborhood felt safe, except for one road lined with thick forest. One night, as we strolled and chatted, my father suddenly stopped, pulled me close, and covered my mouth. He pointed towards a dimly lit patch of overgrown land. At first, I saw nothing, but then a small, scrawny figure emerged from the brush, followed by two others. They looked almost human, but were only about 3 feet tall. After a brief, hushed discussion, they darted towards the trees. My father, fueled by fear, scooped me up and sprinted home. After that night, our late-night walks ended. He installed bright motion lights and brought home a dog. To this day, he refuses to talk about it, but those figures haunt me, vivid in my memory even after 15 years. The eastern Sierra Nevada mountains, and hike there often. A few years ago, I tackled a strenuous trail that led to a massive rock slide. I parked and noticed I was alone, just me and my 2 dogs. About a mile in, I stumbled upon this bizarre teepee-like structure made of woven trees. It was strange but fascinating, especially with a sapling bent backward in the mix. As I moved past it, everything changed. Suddenly, the woods fell silent. No bugs, no birds, nothing. I've hiked solo countless times, but this felt different. My dogs, usually so confident, were sticking close to me, acting uneasy. I realized I'd left my walking stick back at the structure, but I didn't want to go back. The feeling of being watched intensified, and I convinced myself it was just a big cat. But as I raced back down, my stick was gone, vanished. Panic set in, and I felt like I was being chased, even though I never saw anything. It wasn't until I reached the parking lot that the eerie sensation finally faded. I'll never return to that spot. Just thinking about it gives me chills. This happened to my son Cody when he was 17. We were living in New Mexico, and one night, he was riding with his friends Drew and Alex in Drew's truck. They were on this isolated road, surrounded by desert, when they spotted a man standing in the middle of the road. Drew slowed down, expecting him to move, but he just stood there, shrouded in darkness. Then, out of nowhere, the guy drops to all fours and starts sprinting toward them. The kids screamed as Drew slammed the truck into reverse, and this figure kept pace with them, running on all fours. They finally managed to get away and rushed home, terrified. When they burst in, they were pale and shaken, and I knew something was seriously wrong. They spent the whole weekend at our place, too scared to go out at night. After some research, they convinced themselves it was a skinwalker. Even now, if I bring it up, Cody and his friends go quiet, haunted by that night. It took them a long time to feel safe again. I've got to tell you about something wild that happened at the university. One night, a security guard was just hanging out in the dorm with the RA when a group of basketball players burst in, looking terrified. They'd just come from practice and spotted this strange humanoid figure on top of a building. They stood there, trying to figure out what they were seeing when, out of nowhere, it jumps down, about 2.5 stories, and lands as a massive wolf. Naturally, they sprinted back to the dorm. So, the security guard and the RA decide to check it out. They step outside and see this guy in a black trench coat pacing at the entrance of the football stadium, staring right at the dorm. They both see him, and as they approach, he bolts. And get this, he transforms into a black wolf and takes off. Later, they find out this guy had been caught on security cameras stealing a stage from someone's car at another dorm. Can you believe that? A shape-shifting thief on campus. I was at this park with my girlfriend, stargazing, when I heard a rustling in the bushes. It sounded like someone stomping around, so I got up to check it out. What I saw was bizarre, a figure hunched over, draped in a white cloth, stepping out onto the path. I asked my girlfriend what she saw, and she described it exactly the same way. We bolted to my car, and I turned on the high beams, hoping it would follow us, but it didn't. Then, we drove to another park to shake off the weirdness. About 10 minutes in, we spotted a silent black helicopter overhead, moving in a way I'd never seen before, like something out of a sci-fi game. It dipped over the trees at a steep angle, and there was an old woman walking her dog nearby who didn't even flinch. It was the strangest night of my life. We just decided to go home and forget it ever happened. I haven't returned to either park since, and honestly, I don't think I ever will. There's some really strange stuff out there. I don't know if I saw something or not. My pretty non-religious mom claims she's been haunted for decades by this old man who stands by her bed and silently screams. Sometimes he disappears for months, then shows up 3 or 4 times a week. She says he was around when I was a kid, but never mentioned him to me or my sister until we were grown, probably to spare us the fear. He even followed us 300 miles to a new state, like a lost dog. My stepdad used to laugh it off, but now he claims he's seen the guy too. My mom just finds him annoying, wishing he'd let her sleep. I have this vivid memory of coming home from college, hanging out with friends, and waking up in the middle of the night needing to pee. For a split second, I saw this scrawny old man with wild hair, mouth wide open, but no sound. I jumped out of bed, and he vanished. I brushed it off as a mix of beer and weed, but sometimes I wonder if the ghost thought I was finally old enough to haunt, only to get freaked out when I bolted right through him. I remember one evening as a young teen, sitting on the floor in my mom's bedroom, completely absorbed in Animal Crossing. The sun dipped below the horizon, and suddenly, the room felt different. With no light on, I glanced out the window and noticed a tree branch swaying. But wait, there were no trees in our backyard, just open farmland. I squinted, trying to make sense of it, and then I saw it. A white oval shape at the end of the branch. It turned and looked right at me before lumbering off. I convinced myself it was just a deer with a weird color mutation, but later I realized none of our usual deer had been around. A week later, I woke up in the middle of the night. My dog was on high alert, staring out the window. I grabbed my glasses and saw it again. This time, it was a creature with fur so black it blended into the night. My dog, usually a barker, was trembling, trying to stay quiet. I felt oddly calm, like I was witnessing something special. I quickly sketched what I saw, and even though I got laughed at in class when I shared the story, I still drew that creature. It's become a part of my stories, a reminder of that peaceful encounter under the moonlight. Living in Makala, Chile, as a missionary was an experience I'll never forget. Our little house, with its odd additions over the years, held secrets that revealed themselves at 3 a.m. every night. The air would shift, and I felt this overwhelming sense of spiritual nausea, like my heart was in turmoil. Then, we'd hear it. The sound of a child's laughter and running footsteps in the hall. None of us dared to leave our rooms. The moment you opened the door, that nauseous feeling intensified. We thought it was just our imaginations, but every missionary experienced it. We even named her La Nina. One night, a sister felt disembodied hands on her back, while I faced sleep paralysis, staring at a tall, antlered figure looming over me. Toys would mysteriously appear in the hall, and our neighbors warned us about a woman nearby who didn't like us. Dead animals occasionally showed up in our yard, leaving us questioning if it was her doing or something else entirely. Despite house blessings and prayers, nothing changed until we were finally moved to a new apartment, and the strange occurrences ceased. I don't think whatever was there meant us harm. It just wanted to be noticed. In the mountains, my mornings began with wrangling horses. My parents had a whole herd, and every evening, we'd let them out to graze. They wore cowbells, which made it easier to find them when they wandered off. One morning, I found myself deep in the woods, frustrated after searching for hours. I heard the familiar jingling of the bells and followed the sound to a winding creek. Just as I thought I was close, the bells stopped. Then, out of nowhere, I heard them again, leading me further into the thick forest. This happened several times, each time pulling me deeper into the woods. Finally, I listened to my gut and turned back. When I returned to camp, the horses had miraculously found their way back on their own. The Aboriginal trail hands told me it was a mischievous spirit trying to lure me away. It still sends chills down my spine.
Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share and subscribe. The Internet Surfer on YouTube for more horror and scary stories.